So Patrick, welcome to Hablo Talks. Thank you for joining us today on the waterfront in Tampa.
Yeah, what a beautiful day to do this, right? And sun's shining. So we should really be in shorts and t-shirts.
We should be. Next time. So we're here to learn a bit about you, your travel industry journeys, and how you got to where you are today. So yeah, where did it all start?
It all started when I'm going to go all the way back when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Now, back in those days, I was obviously born and raised in the north of England. So, like most English kids would drive to Spain or fly to Spain, and always had that bug. And I got real lucky young in my life. My father's job took him around the world, so I got to see a lot of the world. And I think it really just opened my eyes to there were different cultures and different possibilities, and it got me so interested in how different societies and countries did things. Did the usual college and everything else. I ended up started as a journalist, which was great until I got death threats for putting people's names in the newspaper when they were found guilty, but hadn't told their spouse that they were even in court, never mind that they were going to be found guilty. So I thought, you know what, advertising and public relations, that's for me. So I did that for about 20 years, half of that here in Florida. And if you're in Florida working in advertising and PR, you end up in the travel business. So I represented a bunch of different Florida DMOs and museums and airports. And then about 8 years ago, I was living here in Tampa, but representing just about everyone else. About 8 years ago, my predecessor left to take a position in California. And they reached out to me and said, what do you think? And I thought, I've spent the last 20 years giving 10% of my time to 10 different things. What would it be like to spend all of my time on one thing? And then you get to do this. So I think we made the right decision.
Yeah, so. Absolutely agree. Yeah. And so why do you think the actual travel industry is the best industry to work in?
I tell people, and this is not true in any way at all, but I tell people I'm a combination of ADHD and OCD. And I think that working in a business like this, where you get to concentrate on details and you get to do some creativity, but at the same time, you're doing 100 different projects all day long. I love that personally. So I love working on the DMO side. I also like, the fact that our job at the end of the day is two things. One is economic development for our community. But number two is the people who come here, it's their happiness, it's their joy to see that on people's faces. I'll give you an example. So last year we did a stunt, promotion, whatever you want to call it. We found there's a town in Kansas called Tampa.
Okay.
Has 105 people live there. So we flew the entire town from Tampa, Kansas to Tampa, Florida on vacation right before Christmas last year. Most of these people had never been on a plane, had never left the state of Kansas, and to see the looks on their faces when they came off the plane, or when we took them to Busch Gardens to go on roller coasters, to see that joy. What other jobs do you ever get to get that connection?
Yeah. No, and I agree. I think that's the industry in general, isn't it? We talk about travel being a force for good, and it's exactly for that, giving people new experiences.
Well, it opens minds. So that's how it started for me, living in, the first country we moved to was Saudi Arabia, then we were in Australia. I have two brothers. We all graduated high school in different countries. So but it gives you this diverse, open aspect on the world that I think is, obviously the word unique is overused because it is for everybody that's in our industry, but it gives you a different take on the possibilities and plus, it's a lot more fun than sitting in an office 9 to 5, doing data entry.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine doing that.
No. And out of all of those travels around the world, is there a kind of one that sticks out as, the best travel memory you have?
Oh, shit. That's a tough one. We drinking wine in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales was pretty good, even though I was probably underage at the time. But no, I think, and there's a story where one year we went to, we were in Jeddah at Christmas, and we got off the BA flight, and there was about 100 guys lining the jetway, giving us presents and wishing us Merry Christmas. And that was just we were just stunned. And I was 12, 13 at the time. But no, they're all good. Going over in glaciers in Iceland, getting to see, hug great big redwood trees in Northern California. I just love the different places that you can see. And I think as long as you have that curiosity to keep doing it, I think that's what the drive is.
Absolutely. And is there anything still on the bucket list actually that destinations you have to go to before?
There's a few. And some of them are the really obvious ones that you would assume everybody's been and done. I haven't spent a lot of time in Rome. I would love to do the Scotch whiskey tour in Scotland.
Yeah.
Just with my aversion to cold weather, that would have to be in the summertime.
In the summertime, yeah.
You know, I've been lucky. We get to go to so many places, but you know, there are still things that I have not tried that I'd love to do.
And then going back to your industry journey, is there a mentor that sticks out that gave you some advice that's kind of carried you through and that you now maybe give to your teams?
There's a couple. Actually, when I was first starting out in PR in London, I had this force of nature of a boss named Mary Foster Berry. Not Mary Berry, Mary Foster Berry.
Yeah.
And she just really opened my eyes to the possibility of the business and where you could go if you were motivated. And then actually my former boss, I worked at another advertising agency here in St. Petersburg for a while. With him, it was really just more of the idea of, and we'll talk about this, and I've talked about this when we're hiring people, especially in those marketing roles, is you need common sense, you need a thick skin, but you've got to be creative with it. And I think those three things, because in our business, you get a lot of no's, you get a lot of issues, but if you keep your head straight and your feet on the ground and find creative ways to do things, I think that kind of helps.
Yeah. And I guess that being the CMO, you get the kind of maybe the freedom to be a little bit innovative and
we do
things like
we have done so many. I just gave a presentation to Destinations Florida a couple of weeks ago about things that we've done that a lot of others won't do. You know, during the last few years, we became a publishing company. We now have our own cookbook, cocktail book, photographic journey through Tampa Bay. We have our own branded cool sneakers. We now have our own scent. You know, when you go into a hotel and high-end hotels have a particular smell, now we have a particular smell because we want people to associate that smell with us. So it's just pushing ideas a little bit further. What can you do that no one else has done? We have a thing we're about to do in the German market right now that is almost going to be like live TV. It's almost going to be like reality TV happening within a shopping mall.
Wow.
That is going to be people are going to be thinking they're just interacting with a kiosk, when really it's a real person, and they're going to start talking to them and calling them in and doing stuff. So it's all different weird things that we can you know, push the envelope with.
And would you say that's kind of the best thing about working for Visit Tampa Bay? That
So we have over the last 10 years or so, and I can talk about that time period while I've been here, we have really built a strong foundation of partnerships with all our hotels, our attractions, all of our partners, whether it be limo companies or dry cleaners. I mean, everybody's in the same business. And we keep elevating what we do. We've kept, you know, we really came out of a lot of recessions and pandemics ahead of a lot of the others. And I think the fact that we keep doing that and we keep providing the results gives you more freedom and more leeway. You know, they let you off the leash a little more to do things that maybe 10 years ago people would have said, you can't do that. And it's like, well, why not? I mean, when we said we were going to fly a whole town here from Kansas, the look on our CEO's face was, you're going to do what? And I was like, we're going to fly a whole town. And he's like, all right, man, go do. So,
you did.
And we got, you know, millions of impressions and earned media and social media. And so I guess it's that constantly wanting to innovate and create and elevate this destination from what it used to be 10 years ago and what it has become, especially over the last couple of years with the extension of the Riverwalk and the opening of the whole Water Street development and bringing in the Michelin Guide to Florida and all of these. It has taken what was more of a blue-collar town into probably the only really authentic and high-end city in the state of Florida. I'm going to get flack for that from my friends in Miami and Orlando, but they are, because Miami is known for Miami Vice and South Beach. Orlando is known for Disney. We're an actual real city. You know, we have the breweries, we have the distilleries, we have the high-end restaurants, we have the attractions. There's no other destination in Florida can say that. So it's a great brand, a great product to sell.
Yeah. And on that point, is there anything that's coming up shortly or in 2024 that people should be looking out for?
Well, we're going to break ground on a brand new 5-star hotel on Monday.
Wow.
that because of its proximity to the water is going to be as deep underground as it is high in the air.
Wow.
Which is going to be a great project to see. Very excited to see that. We are hopeful of a few more international flights coming on board. Obviously, last year we just added the daily from Virgin. We have the daily with BA. So for a UK audience, it's very easy to get here.
Yep.
Plus the connectivity through Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, New York, whether you're coming from Manchester or from London. So I think that's really the areas we're going to be pushing on.
Yeah, and the international flights are so big, aren't they, for a destination, for that growth opportunity?
Well, they are. And we're even talking with some of the domestic airlines that are now reaching overseas. It's that connectivity. We're a very easy airport to use. So let's say you're flying into Atlanta. There's a flight from Atlanta here every 50 minutes.
Wow.
And we have the easiest customs probably in the state. It's just our airport is set up to be customer friendly. Our TSA agents are trained to be customer friendly. That's not always the same.
Makes a big difference.
It's not always the same, and that's because that's the first impression. It's like when you say to a hotelier, the first impression is that receptionist or that doorman that's opened the door for you. That's their first thought, and everything's going to go up or down from there. So if you land in a great airport and get a great customs experience, you're already in a better frame of mind than if you're schlepping through with tens of thousands of others through a long line. So
true. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for your time. That's been really, really great to talk to you on the waterfront here in Tampa. I've enjoyed my time in the city. It's an amazing city.
It's beautiful.
It really is, and look forward to coming back. So thank you very much.
Thank you.